The story begins at Georgetown University, not UNC, in late September 2025. Students and staff found disturbing flyers recruiting for the John Brown Gun Club, a group known for armed activism, not debate. The flyers referenced the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk, echoing language found at the crime scene. Their message: violence is not just justified but celebrated. The posters declared an end to ceremonial resistance, signaling a shift toward real forceful action. The incident reignited controversy, putting UNC professor Dwayne Dixon, long linked to these radical networks, back in the national spotlight. Conservative groups demanded answers. Why is someone allegedly tied to violent, far-left organizations still teaching at a major university? The story exploded, forcing a national conversation about the line between free speech and incitement. The campus was no longer just a place for ideas. It was now a battleground. So, who is Dwayne Dixon? Officially, he's a professor at UNC Chapel Hill's Department of Asian and Middle Eastern Studies. But outside the classroom, Dixon is a fixture in far-left activist circles, often appearing armed at protests. He's a reported leader in Redneck Revolt, an offshoot of the John Brown Gun Club. These aren't debate clubs, they're armed, anti-capitalist militias. Dixon's activism is public. He was photographed with a rifle at the 2017 Charlottesville rally and has faced multiple charges related to protest violence, though most were dropped. His presence at volatile events is a pattern, not a coincidence. For many, it's shocking that someone so closely tied to armed radicalism is shaping young minds at a public university. Universities are meant for open debate, not intimidation. Yet Dixon's dual life, professor by day, activist by night, raises serious questions. Is this who we want teaching the next generation? The controversy is about more than one man, it's about the values of higher education. To grasp the controversy, you have to understand the groups Dixon is linked to. The John Brown Gun Club and Redneck Revolt are far-left anti-state militias, not gun rights advocates. They're mission-armed community defense for left-wing activists, often escalating protests with rifles and tactical gear. They reject debate, seeing politics as a battle to be won by force. Their history is violent. Members have been involved in attacks on ICE facilities and were sued for their role in Charlottesville. One member even attempted a firebombing in Washington state, later celebrated as a martyr by extremists. These aren't isolated incidents, violence is part of their identity. When Dixon affiliates with these groups, he's not just making a statement, he's aligning with a movement that embraces violence. That's why his role as a professor is so controversial. The Georgetown Flyers and their link to Kirk's assassination sparked immediate backlash. Turning Point USA demanded Dixon's firing, calling his ties to violent groups unacceptable for an educator. They also urged law enforcement to investigate Redneck Revolt and the John Brown Gun Club as threats to public safety. The controversy quickly reached Washington. President Trump, already focused on left-wing extremism, signed an executive order directing federal agencies to dismantle groups like Antifa and their networks. This new mandate put Dixon and his associates under a national security spotlight. UNC now faced pressure not just from activists, but from the federal government. The stakes had never been higher. Amid the uproar, UNC's administration took a hands-off approach, citing free speech and declining to comment on Dixon's activities. Critics saw this as abdication. Does free speech protect those tied to armed militias and political violence? The university's silence raised urgent questions. Where is the line between lawful expression and dangerous incitement? By refusing to act, UNC appeared to prioritize a radical professor's rights over campus safety. The Dixon case forces a reckoning. Are universities still places for open debate, or havens for extremism? Free speech is vital, but not a shield for those who advocate violence. The controversy is a test for higher education's values, and its future. How long can universities claim to stand for knowledge and safety while employing those who stand for chaos?